Sup snakes, in today's video I am covering everything Bethesda news you may have missed in the last 2 weeks or so. Everything from the Fallout TV show allegedly using AI for their promo, and someone recreating it in 10 minutes on Midjourney, all the way to Todd Howard talking about how he regrets the way he announced Elder Scrolls 6. So, if you don't already, subscribe to my channel. Keep an eye out for my Starfield controller giveaway. The details are in the description of how to enter. And without further ado, let's get into it. That's right, an author at Forbes has recreated the Fallout TV show logo promo thing that came out last week, along with the small clip that I'm not going to show here due to the writer's strike and the fact that it was in a closed door setting, promo of the Fallout TV show. And this is the recreation by Paul over at Forbes. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Forbes is not my favorite source. I don't know if Paul wrote the article recently about how Walton Goggins is playing a ghoul in the Fallout TV show as if that was brand new news that we got from that promo, even though we've known it for well over a year, and Walton Goggins himself has posted promotional stuff about the show before the writers and actors strikes about how he's playing a ghoul. But I digress. This gentleman is a writer over at Forbes, and he was able to recreate the Fallout TV show promo art, arguably a little bit better or possibly clearer art style wise, in Midjourney with 4 prompts. And yeah, that's a slightly interesting development I figured we'd discuss. We discussed ad nauseum in the last video what all was AI artifacts potentially, allegedly, in the original promo art, but let's talk about Paul's creation as well, because we may as well, and apparently it's news. It brings me no joy to report on this, but here we are. So this is Paul's, and this is the original. As you'll note on Paul's, there are some major differences, i.e. the street and sidewalks have clear delineations. The buildings all have windows. Of course, there is still gibberish within this. That's something you can't really avoid in AI. There's a little bit more clear of people not having multiple extra limbs, what direction the cars are driving, and of course, there are actually people in these cars on a street driving them, as opposed to the original, which lacks people in the cars. The buildings, this building, that building, that building, that building, the bottom of that building, and that building all lack windows. Every single one of these cars is empty. This car is backwards. Something to note, Paul also got a backwards red car in the early part of the frame, and I am shocked by that. The back is the front, but there are also cars parked on the sidewalk clearly and another car driving the opposite direction, whereas on this one we have one car parked on the sidewalk or on the side of the street, as well as people walking in the street or perhaps in a sidewalk, but the sidewalk and the street are the same color, so that makes it unclear. We have a 3-legged lady. Paul, in his one of his articles, said that this tree was growing out of the top of the building, which I don't think it is. This is clearly the bottom part of the tree. It's just a little off kilter here. If you zoom in closely, you can in fact see it. And there is a weird artifact in the mountains that I didn't talk about in my last video, which is, it looks like it's part of a dam that confused the AI, or potentially it's just some kind of structure in the mountains that doesn't exist in LA, but that doesn't necessarily mean it wouldn't exist in Fallout. So there's that. Paul, of course, used a similar logo, slapped it over of the Vault Boy and the Prime, putting the wording on as well. I mean, you could make the argument that Paul's is slightly better, and apparently he used Midjourney to make it, which is really interesting. And the prompt was 1950s Los Angeles street, 1950s cartoon, postcard, advertisement, washed out, faded color, idyllic, and the size. And he also added a grime filter and the other assets on top of it. Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't know what to think, but let me know if you think this is AI and how you feel about it if you do think it is AI. Moving along. So Todd Howard did an interview leading up to the hype and promotion and launch of Starfield with GQ, where he stated the way that they announced Elder Scrolls 6 was probably not the best way, and they would have done it in a more casual way if he had it to do over again, which I honestly think is valid. The way it was promoted in 2018 was an insane drum roll, and all they really chose to show was the logo and art for it. They also talked about Starfield in that launch as well, which was pretty cool, or in that promotion thing back in 2018 as well, which was cool. However, I don't know. I guess I kind of have to agree with the way that they announced Elder Scrolls 6 was probably not the best way. In a more casual setting probably would have been better, but you gotta know this fandom, and they don't take casual things casually. They take it as intense things, and you will get 40 videos and 200 comments on one word that Todd Howard says with regards to either Fallout 5 or Elder Scrolls 6, and there's no way for this fandom to take anything casually. Let's be real, y'all. So, did Todd Howard do it maybe not in the perfect way? Yeah, I agree there, but I do think he should have announced it, and I'm glad he did, even though it's not on the horizon for many, many years. It's still the right thing to do because it does get the fandom off your back to some extent. If the fandom knows that a game is down on the horizon, then they're gonna bug you less if they think it's literally never going to happen, which I'm sure some people are still in that boat despite the announcement. But I think even that and what he said later on about Fallout 5 being an upcoming game after Elder Scrolls 6 is the better route to go. It gets the fandom off your back to some extent, and it allows you a little leeway to focus on the thing that you are working on currently, which obviously up until very recently is Starfield, which it launches very soon, y'all. To that end, Bethesda announced a giveaway of a Starfield watch. I don't think this is the exact watch that comes with the Constellation edition of Starfield, of which I got and I will be unboxing. It apparently has a shipping label created, and I've gotten no other updates since then. I'm really hoping it does make it in time for early release. It might not. That's okay. Either way, I have been playing Starfield. That's all I can say about it. I will drop gameplay videos, my initial takes, and some tips and some other content, guys. There's gonna be a lot of content when the embargo drops on the 31st. But in the meantime, if you guys want to enter this giveaway, it is through Bethesda.net's website. I will put it in the description of this video. I entered myself, even though I am getting the Constellation edition. I do think this watch is slightly different. It's also pretty cool, and the giveaways that have been going on around this game are pretty awesome. Not just through Bethesda directly, but there's also ones through various gaming companies, as well as fans and myself. I'm giving away the Starfield edition of the controller on the official launch day, not the early launch day. All of that will be in the description of this video. Be sure to check it out and enter this one, guys. I mean, like, somebody's gonna win it, and it should be you. Let's be real. Speaking of Bethesda, they have been releasing a lot of information about Starfield. Now, I am not going to talk about the information they're releasing, but it is all public. Go check out their various social media pages. They're pretty much doing it across every platform, giving backgrounds and lore, etc. It's totally worth checking out. We will do deep dives into the lore of Starfield once the game launches, once we're past embargo. I just don't want to do something that I'm not supposed to. But they are releasing a lot of official, very cool information. Be sure to check it out. I will say there's a caveat. Be careful while you're on these various platforms, because spoilers are abound. Leaks are abound. I have successfully, I don't know how, avoided most leaks for the most part. Yes, of course, I do have a review copy, but I also have a day job and I'm in graduate school, and there's possibilities of me having stuff spoiled for me, which I don't want either. Again, you will find no such things on my social media platforms of major plot points, anything like that. Don't worry, even after the embargo ends, for full clarity. But go check out, there is some cool stuff that Bethesda's releasing continually prior to this game, and I think it's a lot of fun. Totally worth checking out on their individual channels. Speaking of things from Bethesda or Bethesda-related people that are totally worth checking out, definitely go check out Pete Hines talk about how much hours you put into Starfield and when the game gets going. Again, this is another thing through IGN. Totally worth checking out. Pete Hines has a lot to say. Everyone loves to focus on Todd Howard, who obviously is amazing, but Pete Hines is also a really cool dude at Bethesda. and has a lot to say about the game as well. He's just a little less memed than Todd Howard, so let's be real. But he has some cool stuff to say about the game if you're interested in checking that out. It is all spoiler-free, obviously, because it's coming from a direct source, so don't worry about spoilers there, but totally worth looking into, and just if you want to learn more from what the developers are saying, I think it's super valuable. Again, I'm just going to point you in the direction of it. Go check it out. I don't want to cover it on my channel because of all the rules and whatnot. So definitely check this out. I will include all the links in the comments, don't worry, or description. And last but certainly not least, you can go pre-download the Constellation Edition companion app on Android and on your Apple phone if you want. I have personally downloaded it. It'll give you a little insight to what all the watch can do. You can set your step goal, your date and time, all of that stuff. Worth checking out. And thanks for Starfield Countdown for always keeping us up in the news. There's a lot of fan accounts on Twitter that do keep up with the news, and it is super helpful and great. So if you are looking to get this early, not that a download takes that long, but it is an opportunity for you to download this. Now remember, we also had a companion app for the Pip-Boy way back when Fallout 4 came out, which at this point was a very long time ago. And that app, I don't think, is available to be downloaded anymore. So there is this thing with Android. If you want to make sure you can get the app down the road, like if it's deleted or for whatever reason, you should download it now, even if you're not going to use it, because you can always go into your previous downloads and re-download it, even if the app is deleted. Like I could go play Flappy Bird on my phone right now because I had Flappy Bird way back when. That's a great feature of Android. Sorry, Apple users. I don't think you have something similar, but make sure to get it just in case. You know, you never know. You never know. Stuff does get deleted. So even if you never plan to use the watch, it's worth getting now at the very least. And, you know, get your settings set up because why not, right? Now, that's about all I have for you for news. I'm sure there will be more news. I'll try and do these news roundup videos consistently. On a personal note, there is some news for this channel. I am fully monetized on this channel. That's right. I can make money off these videos now. I know they show you ads either way, but now I'm actually earning from them, which is just great news. I'm also, of course, going to be posting my Starfield content when the embargo ends, so be sure to keep an eye out on that on the 31st at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Pacific is my time zone, so that's the thought process I think in. There's going to be a lot coming out around that on all of my platforms. Don't forget, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm everywhere. It's very unfortunate. My bigger platforms aren't here either, so yeah, there's that. I'll also be unboxing the Constellation Edition. I'm really looking forward to that, so keep an eye out for that as well. And I hope you guys have a safe and wonderful day in the wasteland. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.